The holographic message flickered across every screen in the Galactic Council chamber, its red warning symbols pulsing with algorithmic urgency. Honey watched from her observation deck aboard the Resilience, Earth's diplomatic flagship, as the assembled alien delegations erupted into panic. The Zephrani were chittering in their ultrasonic frequencies, the crystalline Orthids were fracturing their light patterns in distress, and the massive Bronthar were releasing stress pheromones that filled their atmospheric pods with purple clouds. "They've actually done it," whispered Commander Harry Chen, standing beside her with his arms crossed. His dark eyes reflected the crimson warning lights, but his expression remained oddly calm. "The Krell Dominion just declared war on the entire Galactic Council." Honey nodded, her blonde hair tied back in a regulation bun, her face betraying nothing of the thoughts racing through her mind. She was humanity's chief xenodiplomatic strategist, and Harry was the military liaison. They'd worked together for 5 years, navigating the complex politics of a galaxy that had enjoyed unprecedented peace for a millennium. "Should we be worried?" she asked, though her tone suggested she already knew the answer. Harry's lips quirked into something that wasn't quite a smile. "About the Krell, no. About everyone else's reaction, maybe." The Krell Dominion occupied 17 systems on the galactic rim. They were silicon-based warriors, bred for conquest in their ancient past, but they'd been peaceful members of the Council for 8 centuries. Something had changed. According to the declaration scrolling across the screens, they claimed the Council had grown weak, that the 1,000-year peace had made the galaxy soft and vulnerable. They demanded the Council submit to Krell authority or face annihilation. Ambassador Velther of the Zephrani fluttered to the speaking platform, his translucent wings barely keeping his insectoid body aloft. "This is catastrophic. The Krell possess the 3rd-largest fleet in the galaxy. Their ships are equipped with matter disruptors and quantum shielding. We are a peaceful assembly. We have no military capacity to resist such aggression." Other voices joined the chorus of despair. The Galactic Council had been founded on principles of diplomacy, trade, and mutual prosperity. For 1,000 years, conflicts had been resolved through negotiation and arbitration. The combined military forces of the Council's 247 member species had atrophied into ceremonial parade fleets and border patrol vessels. All except Earth. Honey felt the attention in the room shift toward the human delegation. It always happened this way. Humanity had joined the Galactic Council only 150 years ago, the newest and youngest species in the assembly. They'd been welcomed with curiosity and mild condescension. The older races had assumed humans would eventually abandon their peculiar insistence on maintaining a full military infrastructure. They'd assumed wrong. "Representative Honey," Velther's translated voice crackled through her neural implant. "Earth maintains extensive defensive capabilities. Will humanity aid the Council in this crisis?" Honey stood, her movements deliberate and measured. She walked to the central platform, aware that 246 alien species were watching her every step. Harry remained at the observation deck, but she could feel his presence like an anchor. "The Krell Dominion's declaration is certainly dramatic," Honey began, her voice calm and clear. The translation algorithms carried her words to every species in their native communication modes. "But before we discuss Earth's response, I have a question for the Council." She tapped her wrist console, and a star map materialized above the platform. 17 Krell systems glowed in red, while the 3,000-plus systems of the Council members shimmered in blue. The Krell claimed to possess the 3rd-largest fleet in the galaxy. That's approximately 50,000 warships by our intelligence estimates. The Council, collectively, has perhaps 200,000 vessels of various classes, though most are minimally armed. Does anyone know who possesses the largest fleet in the galaxy? The chamber fell silent. The question seemed absurd given the circumstances. It was Harry who answered from the observation deck, his voice carrying through the audio system with a hint of amusement. "We do. Earth maintains 2.3 million active warships, with another 4 million in reserve production facilities on Luna, Mars, and the asteroid belt. We can have them operational within 6 weeks if needed." The silence deepened, became absolute. Several species began cross-referencing their databases, certain this had to be an error. Honey continued, her expression neutral. "When humanity joined the Galactic Council, we were asked why we maintained such extensive military forces in an era of peace. Do you remember what we said?" Ambassador Velther's wings trembled. You said it was cultural, that humans prepare for wars they hope will never come." "Exactly." Honey's voice softened slightly. "For 150 years, the Council has viewed our military as an anachronism, a waste of resources, a sign of our species' primitive paranoia. We've listened to lectures about the virtues of peace, about how we should redirect our shipyards to commercial vessels, about how we should trust in the power of diplomacy." She paused, letting her words settle. "We never stopped building. We never stopped training. We never stopped preparing, not because we wanted war, but because we understood a fundamental truth that the galaxy had forgotten during its 1,000 years of peace." Harry's voice joined hers, the two humans speaking in perfect synchronization, a practiced routine they'd developed over years of joint briefings. "Peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is the presence of overwhelming deterrence." Honey pulled up another display. "The Krell Dominion declared war 12 minutes ago. In that time, Earth's deep space monitoring network has tracked the movement of their entire fleet. They're currently gathering at staging points in the Krell Prime system, preparing for what they believe will be a devastating first strike against Council worlds." She smiled then, and it wasn't a diplomatic smile. It was the smile of someone holding a royal flush while their opponent bet everything on a pair of threes. "What the Krell don't know is that we've been tracking their military buildup for 3 years. We knew this was coming. We've already positioned the 7th Fleet, 300,000 ships, in a perimeter around Krell space. The Krell won't be striking any Council worlds because they won't be leaving their home system." The chamber erupted in chaos. Questions flooded the translation channels, overlapping in a cacophony of confusion and disbelief. "You knew for 3 years. Why didn't you warn us? 300,000 ships, where were they hidden?" Harry descended from the observation deck, coming to stand beside Honey. Together, they presented a united front, two humans who'd spent their careers being underestimated, patronized, and dismissed. "We didn't warn you because you wouldn't have believed us," Harry said simply. "When we've raised security concerns in the past, we've been told we're overreacting, that we're seeing threats where none exist. The Council called our intelligence reports paranoid human fantasies." Honey nodded. "As for where our fleets were hidden, they weren't hidden. They've been conducting routine exercises in deep space, just as we do every year. You simply assumed our exercises were for show, not preparation." The Orthid delegate, a being of living crystal that communicated through light refraction, pulsed a question. "If you knew war was coming, why allow the Krell to declare it? Why not prevent this diplomatically?" For the first time, Honey's expression showed something other than professional neutrality. Sadness flickered across her features. "We tried. For 3 years, we shared intelligence with the Council. We proposed diplomatic interventions. We offered to mediate discussions with the Krell leadership. Every proposal was rejected or tabled indefinitely. The Council wanted to believe in perpetual peace so badly that you refused to acknowledge the evidence of coming war." Harry added, "Humanity has a saying, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Earth's history is soaked in blood from wars we didn't prevent, conflicts we didn't prepare for, and threats we dismissed until it was too late. We learned from our mistakes. The galaxy apparently did not." Velther's wings had stopped trembling. "What happens now? Will you fight the Krell alone?" We won't be fighting them at all, Honey said. At least not if they're smart. She pulled up another communication display. This one showed a quantum-encrypted channel opening to the Krell Dominion's Leadership Council. The silicon-based warriors appeared on screen, their crystalline armor glinting under harsh lights. Supreme Warlord Kreshnak, Honey addressed the lead Krell with perfect pronunciation of their tonal language. I am Representative Honey of Earth, speaking on behalf of the Galactic Council. Your declaration of war has been received and analyzed. Before your fleet begins what you believe will be a glorious campaign, I wanted to share some information with you. The Krell Warlord's translator carried his grinding, stone-on-stone voice. Humans. The Council sends its youngest species to negotiate. This proves our point about their weakness. Harry stepped forward. We're not here to negotiate. We're here to provide a tactical assessment. Your fleet of 50,000 ships is currently gathering at Krell Prime. Our 7th fleet of 300,000 vessels has established a complete blockade around your 17 systems. Our weapons are armed, our targeting solutions are locked, and our commanders are awaiting orders. He paused, letting the translation complete. You have two options. Option 1. Order your fleet to stand down, return to your home ports, and agree to mediation talks about whatever grievances prompted this declaration. Option 2. Proceed with your war plans and discover why humanity maintains the largest military force in the galaxy. Kreshnak's form seemed to solidify, his silicon structure hardening in what Honey recognized as a defensive posture. You would threaten us, the mighty Krell Dominion. Not a threat, Honey interjected. A statement of capability. Humanity has no desire for war with the Krell or anyone else, but we've prepared for it nonetheless. Your intelligence estimated that the Council's fragmented, ceremonial fleets would collapse within weeks of your assault. You're probably right about that, but you failed to account for the one species that never stopped preparing for the war we all hoped would never come. She leaned closer to the display. Here's what you didn't know. Every major engagement in Krell military history has been war-gamed by Earth's tactical computers. We've studied your strategies, your ship designs, your command protocols. We know how you fight because we've made it our business to know. That's what prepared societies do. Harry added, his voice harder now. The 1,000-year peace is indeed over, Warlord Kreshnak. You've ended it. The question is whether it ends with a single day of posturing and chest beating, or whether it ends with the Krell Dominion becoming a cautionary tale about the dangers of confusing peace with weakness. The Krell delegation conferred among themselves, their harsh tones creating discordant harmonics. Finally, Kreshnak turned back to the display. You would fight to defend species that have mocked and dismissed you for 150 years. Honey glanced at Harry, and something passed between them. A shared understanding forged in years of being the galaxy's designated paranoids, the species too warlike for enlightened civilization. Yes, Honey said simply, because that's what civilization means. Not the absence of the capacity for violence, but the commitment to use that capacity only in defense of others. Earth learned that lesson in blood and fire. We remember our history, Warlord. Do you really want to become part of it? The silence stretched for 10 seconds, 20, 30. Then Kreshnak's form seemed to deflate slightly. We require time to deliberate. You have 4 hours, Harry said. After that, our fleets begin active containment protocols. We won't fire first, but we won't allow your ships to threaten Council worlds. Choose wisely. The connection terminated. In the Galactic Council chamber, the assembled species sat in stunned silence. Finally, Velthor spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. You would truly fight for us, after how we've treated your warnings and concerns. Honey turned to face the Council, and for the first time since the crisis began, she allowed herself to look tired. Ambassador Velthor, humanity doesn't maintain the galaxy's largest military because we love war. We maintain it because we love peace. Real peace. The kind that's protected by vigilance and preparation, not wishful thinking and willful blindness. She looked around the chamber, meeting the various eyes, sensors, and perception organs of hundreds of species. The thousand-year peace was beautiful, but it made you forget that peace isn't free. It's bought with readiness, paid for with vigilance, and protected by those willing to stand guard while others sleep. Humanity never forgot that. We've stood guard for 150 years, waiting for the day when our paranoia would either be proven foolish or necessary. Harry's voice was quiet but carried through the chamber. Today, it was proven necessary. Tomorrow, maybe we can all work together to ensure it never is again. 4 hours later, the Krell Dominion recalled its fleet. Diplomatic talks began the following week. The Galactic Council, for the first time in 1,000 years, voted to reinvest in collective security measures, with Earth's representatives leading the planning committees. And in the captain's quarters of the Resilience, Honey and Harry sat across from each other, sharing a drink in the comfortable silence of two people who just saved a galaxy that barely believed in the threat. "Think they'll actually learn from this?" Harry asked. Honey considered the question, swirling the amber liquid in her glass. "Some will. Others will go back to business as usual the moment the fear fades. That's how it always works." "Then we keep preparing." "We keep preparing," she agreed. "Because the peace is never really over. It just sleeps sometimes, and someone has to stand watch while it does." Harry raised his glass, to standing watch. Honey clinked hers against his, to peace through superior firepower. They drank, and outside the viewport, Earth's 7th Fleet maintained its silent vigil. 3 million ships ready for the war they hoped would never come, crewed by the species too paranoid to forget that hope alone has never stopped a bullet. Or in this case, a Krell matter disruptor. The galaxy slept, humanity watched, and the peace, fragile and precious, endured for another day.